Hello, everybody. Welcome in. How are we all doing today? We're back. It's Saturday. That means fun time at lunchtime. We are here on behalf of the Gran Turismo racing community, and this is our Group 2 series. So the major championship here at the GTRC. Secondary to that, of course, is that great Audi TT Cup series, which will run next weekend. But today, it's all about the Group 2s. So you can see on the track in front of you, we have a huge group of drivers. We got 1 of 13 currently. There's one, I believe, one driver that's not checked in yet, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But 13 drivers here today scheduled to be on track, and I was watching these guys practice, and this is going to be an interesting race. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But as it is for now, it is going to be a 1 hour-ish race here today. And I say ish because due to the way that the lobby settings are in Gran Turismo 7, of course, we've had to slightly modify our racing conditions here today for the racers. So it's going to be a 16 lap race here today. And as always, it's our racing hard and racing medium tires required. And the drivers are definitely going to need fuel at some point in this race based off my information here I have today. So we're in France and we're ripping through the countryside here at the amazing Le Mans circuit. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this circuit goes through 5 different towns all the way around this racetrack. We're going to see sub 4-minute laps here in our Group 2 cars, so anywhere between about 3 minutes and 40 seconds to 4 minutes, depending on the driver, the tire, the car, the condition of the track. It is a dynamic weather today, which means it's all in play here. Rain could happen. I mean, it's Le Mans, it's France. Rain is most certainly definitely a concern here in the back of the driver's mind today, and they are, of course, equipped with racing intermediate wet and racing wet tires as well. So they have the equipment for the task at hand. The question is, does the weather move in today, or does Mother Nature play nice and give nice, good conditions here for our Group 2 drivers? So I think Group 2 cars on Le Mans is going to be a pretty good combination. These cars finally get to open up their power a little bit, and they get to run these cars. So I mean, we're talking 150 mile an hour to 130 mile an hour through the Porsche curves in these cars. We're talking 170 to 185, maybe even 90 miles per hour up through the Mulsanne straights. If they're in slipstream, these guys are going to be moving fast in these absolutely crazy cars today. We missed round number 3. That's on me. I do apologize. My equipment was broke down, unfortunately. So with that being said, let's bring up our current standings after 3 rounds of racing. So this is current coming into our mid-season here, and it is still TT Subi Mark in the lead with 62 points. We have Mike 1972 in second with 43 points. We got Doug Bro in third with 39 points. Hairraiser in fourth with 38. We got Bar 27 with 36. Petrol with 34. Tron Colby with 25 points. Piggums with 21 points. Diaflow Racing with 21 points. Type R with 18 points. And in 11th place. Interesting. A little typo there. It happens. In the 17 points is Happy Pappy. We got Super there with 15 points. We got Iron Knight with 10 points, Egon with 9 points, and Ken Neely with 5 points. So you can see there, TT Subi Mark has a 19-point lead currently over Mike 1972 here for our current championship lead. But anything can happen here today. Le Mans is a tricky circuit, and pretty much everything is really at play. So we're just gonna make sure that we got our game sound kicking. There we go. All right. So you can just hear those cars running. Let's jump on with Petrolhead here, one of the GTR drivers here in the series. So what are we going to see? We're going to see some different cars here. We're going to see the Honda NSX Group 2 car. We're going to see the Nissan GTR Group 2 car. I believe this is a 2016 model. We're also going to see some Lexus Group 2 cars. I believe those are 2018 models. We're also going to see an Audi Group 2 car on track here as well with the DRS button equipped in it. And I mean, what else can you say? A little bit of everything here. We don't have anybody taking on any of the older technology here, but we're going to see one of each of the allowed manufacturers here on this racetrack today. 13 cars at Le Mans. It's going to be an interesting race. I think we're going to see some scrappy fighting in the first couple laps, and then I think as the drivers kind of sort their positioning out and as they make their little mistakes getting through these technical sectors around Le Mans, that we're going to start seeing a little bit of separation in the field today. So I don't know if we're going to see a tight-knit nose-to-tail race like we've seen all season long here from these guys today, just based off the track. The conditions could play a big factor, but we're definitely going to see some racing, and that's what counts. So 1 minute till qualifying, says race control, is what I've just got across the board there. So with that being said, qualifying conditions today are going to be pretty simple. It's a one-shot hot lap qualifying run here today at Le Mans. So these guys are going to go around. They got their long 3 minute to almost 4 minute out lap, and then they have one chance to put in the best qualifying time they can. There is no second chances here. You don't get to make a mistake and go to pit lane and come back and do it again. You have to get it right the first try. Lots of corners, lots of high speed, lots of opportunities to make mistakes. It's going to be an interesting qualifying run here today. And we'll take you into the big screen, of course, once we get underway there as well. So I believe what will happen is we'll see a lobby reset, and then we're going to get motoring. So we're just going to let the drivers check in with race control, as you can see on the screen here. And we're going to get moving. All right, everybody, here we go. The drivers are locked in. Teams have got these cars prepared. They're in qualifying conditions. We're getting ready to do some hot lapping. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. And again, this is a family-friendly broadcast, so the kids are most certainly welcome to come and hang out with us here today as well. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you enjoy our festivities today. And if you're tuning in on Facebook, do me a favor. Facebook has this weird copyright glitch going on right now, and I need you guys really to share on Facebook for me right now. It's the only way to get it out to our followers, unfortunately, at the moment. So, and if you can't find it on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, baby. You know it. The red site is always hopping. It's always popping, and we're looking to make it our new home. So head over to the YouTube channel at GT45 Gaming and hit that sub button today. We're close to our 500. Let's keep going. Alright, so it does look like we are officially underway here for our qualifying conditions, so let's get moving and grooving. Let's get all that ugly information off and bring up the good stuff. And let's just kind of go through our field here. We have a 4 minute outlap here to talk about each of our drivers right now on track competing here today, so let's do that. And let me just check to make sure everything's working, audio, all that great stuff. Seems to be moving and grooving appropriately. Alright, so welcome over on Facebook, YouTube, and Kick. We are absolutely live everywhere today. And we'll we'll see how it goes. Comments, feedbacks, let us know in the comments below. One NSX 2008 says one of our race officials here across the board as well, so that is going to be interesting. So we got a little bit of everything on our racetrack today. All right, so let's check it out. We got a Doug Barrow here ahead right now. The pack on the racetrack. Slipstream is going to be a factor here in qualifying without a question of a doubt. He's in that Honda NSX. He is chasing his 5th championship star from the GTRC community, and he is a driver for Team Rad. Very fast, very quick driver. Drives on controller. Got Happy Pappy here in 2nd place. In behind, he's in that newer style GTR. You see Godzilla plastered all over the front of that thing. And he is an independent driver, if I'm not mistaken. He's been around the community for a very long time. He doesn't have any current championship stars to the best of my knowledge. Whoa, we just got a wheelie there from Doug. No shot. We just got a massive glitch in the logger there, and Doug is popping wheelies. So I don't know what kind of setup he's got in that NSX, but he is popping wheelies heading up. That was pretty crazy. All right, back to what we're doing here. Happy Pappy, again, no current championships, but a long-standing member of the community here, and I'd love to see him on track. We got Dialful Racing, new competitive driver to the community here for the last couple seasons. Very efficient driver, no current championship stars, but definitely been in the hunt through the last couple seasons. Ooh, picking up half like a track limit there. That's unfortunate. We've got Bar 27 here from 1010s Racing. Of course, one of the head officials and owner of the GTRC here on track testing his mettle. He's a pacey driver, and I believe he has a couple of stars. Does he have stars? I'm looking on that car. I'm not seeing any stars, so I believe he might be starless currently here so far from the community as well, but always in the hunt and always in the conversation. We've got 1010 Subi Mark here from 1010 Sim Racing as well, and a newer driver here in the competitive side of the racing, and he is well underway to track down his first championship star here, as he is our current championship points leader coming into round 4 today. So he's halfway through the season there, and oh boy, a vital mistake made there from the driver there as he got into the back end of his teammate a little bit there. Just a miscommunication or a misjudgment in braking. Nobody got spun out there, but that's something that cost both of them a little bit of time. Thankfully, it's the outlap. We've got Iron Knight here and Dialful Racing right in behind, and I believe they come from Dialful Racing. They're teammates here, and they're both fairly new, again, competitively here as well, so no current championships within the community. Iron Knight is still a learning driver. It looks like he's got good average pace as far as I'm concerned. I would say Pro-Am pace here currently in the community, and of course his teammate in behind, Dialful Racing, is a little more of a pacier driver than he is, and again could be competing for a star here if it wasn't just for bad luck sometimes. We got Troan Kobe here. He was last season's Pro-Am champion, so he is now holding down some stars on that car, and he just got promoted up into the pro class or pro tier driving here in the GTRC as well, so been doing well this season. Love to see him on track. We've got Type R here from SPG. Troan Kobe, of course, races for the Humble Guys Racing team as well. THG, great group over there. Big shout out to those guys. We got Type R here in 8th place. I'm not sure what SPG Type R means, but I'm sure he's told me 1,000 times now. I just seem to never be able to forget. I remember. I think it's a civic thing. But yeah, he is a long-standing member of the community here, and he has been driving here for a very long time. No current championship stars with the GTRC, but great defensive driver here is number 45 driver Type R. This guy can defend with the best of them. We've got 1010 Sim Racing Egon here as well. He's new competitive here this season, off and on through different seasons as he finds something that he likes, and he's testing out his mettle here in that Lexus Group 2 car here this season. Having a little bit of a slow start to the season, looking for a good recovery here today, I would imagine. We've got Mike 1972 here. I believe this is an independent driver and a very quick driver, currently second in the championship point standings, and it's got 19-point gap between him and Subi Mark currently in those standings, looking for his first championship here of the season as well. Why am I not getting keyboard options here? Alright, apparently I can only get to the top 10 with my keyboard. I don't know what that's about. We'll sort that out in between qualifying and the race. And we got Hairraiser in 11th place. We'll talk about the two drivers since we can see their names. We just can't see their cars, unfortunately. One of the admin staff here as well. He's got a couple championship stars on his car here as well. He's a good, feisty competitor here and is more than capable of winning more championship stars himself. He's always up in the top half of the field here. It seems like no matter what it is he's competing in. So good, solid, consistent racing driver. And then we've got Petrolhead as well, a long-standing member of the GTRC racing community here, and he is chasing his second championship stars. He is defending champion from the main series last season as well here, so defending champion in a sense here coming into the Group 2 series this season, and he is currently sitting, I believe, in 3rd place in the championship standings, if my memory serves me correctly without looking at him, and chasing Subi Mark and Mike 1972. So we got Doug Burrow coming through the Porsche curves here. You can see about 130 mile an hour average through the back end of the Porsche curves. He's coming in at about 155 mile an hour to start. By the time we get into the two sets of chicanes here at the end of this final straight, these guys will be at almost 170 miles an hour here again. And 165 there, we see that Honda NSX and Doug Burrow come in through. So it's going to be Doug Burrow first through here, and this is it. It's the only qualifying lap these guys will get today, so this one really counts. Let's see what it is for Doug, and it's a 3:44.064 from Doug. Let's see what Pappy's got in that GTR in behind here as he comes through. Subi Mark takes pole position away. I didn't realize he was slipped in between there. It's going to be a 3:47 for Pappy. Subi Mark there with a 3:43.6. Bars coming through here. He's currently sitting in 4th. We got Troen up into 5th. We got Iron Knight coming through, and Diaful Racing coming through. Type R's coming through. He's going to sit in 8th. We got Egon coming through. He's going to move up into 8th. We got Mike jumping up into 8th, getting knocked down into 9th by Happy Pappy, and Petrol jumping into pole position. Ooh, doggy, that was some qualifying right there. The last guy in the racetrack, now the first guy on the starting grid. Team Rad's Petrolhead is going to take pole position with a 3:42.664, and that's not the fastest laps I've seen these guys run around here today either. That is getting there, but still not sitting where I've seen the laps potential. Subi Mark in 2nd place. It's going to be Doug Burrow in 3rd. It's going to be Supra in that Audi in 4th place. It's going to be Happy Pappy in 5th place. Sneaking in a beauty of a lap there, starting in the midfield. It's going to be Hairraiser there in 6th place. We've got TDC coming through. It's a 3:47.438. It's going to be good enough for 7th place there for him. I didn't even know he snuck in there. We got Bar 27 there in 8th place. We've got Iron Knight in 9th. We've got Mike 1972 in 10th, and I got to fix my keyboard, so we're going to do that right now. I'm just going to mute my mic, you guys and gals, and I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Alright. Hey! Alright, we are back in business here. Alright. Production crew must have flipped the right switch or moved the right plug to the right hole. I don't know what happened there, but now we're moving and we're grooving, so. 14 of these Group 2 cars are absolutely ready to roar here from the Gran Turismo racing community. Let's get going. Samantha says, good luck, Razor. Appreciate you, Samantha. Welcome in. Got Ruben with the like over on Facebook as well. Appreciate you. Can't wait for tonight's race. Hey, love that, love that. We love seeing the viewers up in the house. So let's get going. Don't forget to hit that like and that share button for us today. There's a couple of free things you can do. It takes about 15 seconds of your time, and it just helps us get more people to come in and watch as well. Also a free way to help us grow. If you're new to the channel and you love the content, hit that follow or that subscribe button, depending on the platform it is that you're viewing from, and you get notified every time we go live. Hopefully, you know, fingers crossed. Can't say too much for the platforms and how they operate. Unfortunately, we're a victim of our platforms, but that's why we cover them all. We're good to go. Alright, so we are again live on the GT45 Gaming Facebook, GT45 Gaming YouTube, GT45 Gaming Kick, and the Gran Turismo Racing Community YouTube channel as well. Make sure to show them all some love, everybody. We appreciate y'all. And YouTube is definitely where it's at when it comes to audio and video. Oh, we have Pappy. Maybe having some issues here, so we're going to have a red flag, I believe, here today. And that's unfortunate, but we're just going to keep this race going here like it's starting, but I believe that that's going to be a red flag due to disconnect right at the starting grid, and there's going to be some lobby changes happening so we can reset the grid here. So hopefully somebody got a screenshot of that, because I was slacking today. Go figure. Alright, we're green, and are we going to see the red flag? Did anybody even realize that Pappy had disconnected here? Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on, but we're racing, so here we go. Alright, side by side as we get through turns 1, 2, and 3 here, and it looks like everybody gets through safe and sound there, so that's fantastic. And we do have an Epson 2008 Nissan Epson GR2 car on the track here as well, and then, you know, that you would think that I should do fairly well here. So it's Supra here in that Audi in the early race lead, but Subi Mark makes a big move there. Petrolhead also looks up the inside, follows him through, and now Doug's going to follow through, and very quickly Supra finds himself back into 4th place, and a little nudge wide there from I believe it was Mark there is going to actually give him that half-second penalty there as well. So that was an interesting exchange there, but I did say we're going to see a scrappy race here very, very early on in the very early parts of this race. So it's now Petrolhead battling Doug here for the race lead. He goes on the outside coming into the first set of S's here on the end of the first Mulsanne straight, and as we head into the second part of the Mulsanne straight, it is now Petrolhead in the lead with that GTR. Doug Burrow in 2nd place. We got Subi Mark tucked right in underneath him there in 3rd place. We got Supra still in behind in that Audi. That half-second penalty, though, not ideal for him. We've got Hairraiser here in 5th place. We've got the Damn Cat in 6th place here, and he's in that Epson. He's in the old school car. We've got Egon and Dialful Racing here getting a little love between each other here, getting each other up the racetrack a little bit quicker there. So some great teamwork right there. You can see Tron Kobe here in 9th place. We've got Mike 1972 there in 10th place, and he must have made a little mistake somewhere in the early parts of the race. He just got cluttered up and gobbled up by the pack, but he did start up a little bit higher there. We got Bar in 12th position. We got Type R here in 13th. So I feel like Pappy must have had a mechanical issue in his racing car here, and right before they line these cars up on the starting grid, I'm assuming that he had to bring that thing back into the paddock there. We have a little bit of contact there between Doug and Mark, and he goes out wide, and oh boy, that should potentially be, I don't know, that may be a red flag situation there. We got a massive pile up in the mid-pack there. We've got Egon now up into 3rd. We got Dialful in 4th. We got Super. Hold on, let's go take a look at this here one more time as soon as I can find Mark here. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Let's go find Mark. Let's go take a look at what happened there. Replays work. So you can see there, we see in the early part, let's see the aftermath there. He collects up, I believe that's Supra there, and then the ghosting takes in. And Doug Burrow has disconnected from the race here, so there is something crazy going on here in this lobby right now. And I still don't know if we're going to see a red flag here. It's quite potential we could see a red flag happen here. And the lobby just crashed. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, again. Oh, that's a replay. Never mind. Never mind. They haven't been working for a while. I'm not used to that. So the lobby didn't crash. Usually when you see it freeze like that, that's a bad sign. So we have a disconnect by Doug Burrow there, and that's going to crush any chance that Doug Burrow has potentially here for a championship at this point in the season here. We do not have a red flag from the incident that we were watching there either. So this race is going on, and then boy, oh boy, we got another car down there, and I don't think that Doug was involved there. He might have been, yeah, right, he got tapped there, but he wasn't caught up in the big part of the incident there. We've got Mike 1972 now up into 2nd place. We got Dialful Racing in 3rd. We got Egon in 4th. We got Iron Knight in 5th. We got Tron in 6th. We got Super in 7th. We got Bar in 8th. We got Petrol down into 9th. We've got Type R in 10th place. We've got Subi Mark all the way down into 11th, 12th place here, and it looks like he's just rattled right now, and he's just gotta get his head back about him and behind the wheel. There's a lot lot of racing left here yet. This is Le Mans. It's very easy to make mistakes here. Currently, Hair Razor has a 2.8 second gap after all the craziness that's been happening here at the race start. We got Diaful Racing here in 3rd place. We got Egon in 4th. We got Iron Knight in 5th place. He's still got Tro and Kobe tucked in behind, and there's a whole pack right there. Bar 27, Supra, and Tro and Kobe. And I believe Petrohead's right at the back end of that pack here as well. So let's stick on with... Ooh, Tro and Kobe is going to take a little peek there up the inside of Iron Knight. And Iron Knight's going to pick up a penalty there too, as he made a mistake going through that chicane. You got to watch track limits here. The track officials are very, very unforgiving when it comes to track limits here at Le Mans. So they want the drivers keeping it right, and it really is for the driver's safety more than any other thing. So we got a little help here coming from Petrolhead on Iron Knight to get back around Tro and Kobe, and we're side by side through the chicane. I think there's a slight little touch tire to tire there between Tro and Kobe and Petrolhead, and that sent Petrol wide. He's going to get passed by Supra and Bar 27. All right, let's get back into the latter part of this field here now. This is some crazy racing right now in the mid-pack, and that's always the way it goes here. Supra here in 7th place is going to be Bar 27 in 8th, and Petrolhead there in 9th place. And the slipstream and bump drafting is going to play a big factor at some point into the race. Now, the slipstream isn't aggressive here in the lobby in these settings. We got Bar 27 taking a look up on the inside, which is now the outside of Super. He's actually going to lose that position to Petrolhead there, putting himself on the outside. It was a great try there to get around the Supra, but again, that Audi should be fairly strong here with that DRS. You can see he got a run on Tro and Kobe up ahead there. Now he's going to take a look to get around Tro and Kobe and try to get back in line in behind there, but once you pull out of the slipstream, it is tough to get past that next car. Oh, contact there between the cars, just a little bit of confusion, a little tap in the rear end here, and boy oh boy, it is feisty racing here today at Le Mans circuit, and no harm no foul. Everybody's still continuing on the racetrack here. Tro and Kobe still just in behind Super here. Let's get back to our 7th place driver here now. This is quite the intense battle we got going on in the mid-pack at the moment. We love to see it. We got Tro and Kobe there. He's now got Supra up ahead. He's got Petrolhead battling with him there, and he's got Bar 27 and company still shaking down in behind. I believe that's Subi Mark now closing in the background there as well. So, oh boy, it is getting interesting here at Le Mans today, and Le Mans always provides for interesting races, needless to say. It's a very high-speed racetrack. I believe we just had a lobby glitch right there, and... all right, side-by-side action between Tro and Bar 27 here, and I feel like the stewards are going to have a little bit of work here after this race today, but that's just what I feel. I could be wrong with that. So it is Tro and Kobe here in 9th place. It's going to be Type R in 10th, Subi Mark in 11th, and you can see he's just off in the background there, and I feel like he's still a little rattled. He doesn't seem to be pushing right now, so I don't know if he's maybe altered his strategy or if he's just gathering himself back up, getting himself back into his rhythm. It's really hard to say at this point, but he's got a good points lead here. He just needs to work on grabbing positions before the end of the race, really. He's got a lot of race left. We're only on lap 2 of 16, so we're not anywhere near over here. We've got Mike 1972 here in 2nd place. We've got Dialful Racing here in 3rd position. We've got Egon in 4th place. He's being hounded by Petrolhead. So Petrolhead has brought that GTR back right up into the fight here. And he's now side by side with the Lexus of Egon heading into turns 1, 2, and 3 here. So a little bit of rubbing there, tire action. And Petrolhead's just going to slot up ahead here. And this is difficult racing here from some of these drivers as well. We got a mixture of VR, steering wheel, and pad drivers all in this series here. So it makes for some interesting battling as well. We got Supra up into 6th place. He's now closing in on Egon in that Lexus there as well. So good battles happen here on the track and slipstream and drafting in these long straights, and a huge mistake there by Egon, and Supra's gonna get collected up there, and that is super unfortunate right there for both those drivers. Supra's going to get turned around. He's going to get himself back on track. And as he comes back out, he collects up Mark. Oh, my. Oh, boy. Le Mans is creating some havoc here today. We've got Hair Razor in 1st place. We've got Mike 1972 in 2nd place. We got Dialful Racing in 3rd. We've got Petrolhead here in 4th. We've got Iron Knight in 5th. We've got Bar here in 6th. We've got Trone in 7th. We've got Type R in 8th. We've got TDC Gaming here in 9th place. We've got Egon in 10th place with Supra in 11th after that little bit of mistake made by Egon. He collected up Supra. Supra's coming back out onto the racetrack and collects up Subi Mark, who is now parked at the edge of the racetrack. So, all right, continuing on. Just turn it around and keep it going, dude. Waldemar coming in with the like on the stream as well. Appreciate you, my guy. Hairraiser here in the race lead. This has been a pretty crazy race, and Hairraiser, he got out fronting into clean air really early on, and he's just kind of moving right now. He's fastest driver on the racetrack, 344.8. He's purple here as he comes around, but Mike 1972 is tracking there in behind. He's on a personal best lap here this time around. I mean, this is only lap 3, I suppose, but they're very long laps here. We've got Dialful Racing tucked right in behind here in 3rd place as well, and I guess not tucked right in behind. He's about 3/4 of a second in behind here right now, just starting to nip into the slipstream range. So the slipstream range in these cars is much closer than you normally expect. Normally we see about that 3/4 of a second to a second mark for the slipstream range, but it makes it very difficult to drive in close quarters with these cars with that setting. So it's been tweaked to provide for safer racing conditions for our drivers, and it is on a weak slipstream here. And that weak slipstream is more realistic in a sense, I guess. It kind of creates it down to, I would say, maybe 3/4 of a second. So you need to be within about a car length and a half of that slipstream kind of to really take an effect. But in these high downforce cars, it doesn't really make that much of a difference anyways at the end of the day, because when they're at their top end, there's no more to go anyways. So passing each other like we've seen on the Mulsanne straight, especially when you pull out of that slipstream, it's very, very difficult. You got to time that run just right to have the momentum to get around the car and tuck in front of that car. And that was a great run through the Porsche curves there from Dialful Racing as he's exiting out there and heading into the final 2 chicanes here. I know it says they're flashing low fuel. It's just, again, another thing that we can't control in the game, unfortunately. But he's got a half tank of fuel right now. I do suspect if the drivers are fuel conserving, they can get about 7 to 9 laps out of these cars. And it looks like if they're full sending it, they're going to get about 5 to 6 laps out of the car. But I think it's going to come down to the car that each driver is driving as well. All right, let's go see what's happening through our field here. We got Petrohead, he's tracking. He's 3.7 seconds in behind Dialful Racing. We've got Iron Knight here in 5th place. He's got Bar 27 absolutely tucked in underneath here. And I'm not sure if Bar's working with him here. I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. And he didn't, again, once these cars are topped out, they don't really get much closer. They don't really gain momentum on each other. And that was a pretty good example of it. Barr never really got close enough to actually give him the bump. He was just kind of perfectly tucked in underneath like they were a magnet stuck together, and a little bit of a wide entry coming into the S there. And you can see Dialful Racing's just going to let Bar 27, or Iron Knight, pardon me, is going to let Bar 27 through there because he knew he made the slight mistake. And in the sake of not costing each other time, he just let him go through there, and unfortunately he lost the slip a little bit. But again, by the time we get to the end of the Mulsanne straight here, the first part of the Mulsanne straight here, he'll probably be tucked right back up in behind Bar 27 here, and it'll just be a battle on as always. But I do believe they're kind of working together there. We got Type R currently sitting here in 7th place. He's got 3.1 seconds on those two up in front of him here right now, and if they continue to work together as efficiently as they can there, he's going to have a hard time closing that gap. He's got Super coming in hot in behind here as well, in 8th place. Now the Audi is quite good around here. He's just been caught up in some unfortunate incidents early on in the race here, but again, that's only lap 4 of 16. We're only a quarter of the way through the race here at the end of this lap, so there's plenty of race left here yet today for these drivers to still make up that ground. We've got TDC Gaming here in 10th place. Got Egon up here in 11th, and we got Mark out here, and just having a rough day. He's just having a rough day. He's back out. He's on track here. He's got a minute. He's about 2 minutes to the race leader, and at this point, it's just about trying to get through the race and just finish it and take what he can for points. He is our championship points leader, so he doesn't really want to not get across that start-finish line here today. all things happen on the racetrack. Racing is racing, and I think that racers seem to forget that, and they let the frustration boil over sometimes. And I'm talking from experience here, not only as a broadcaster but a racer myself. And sometimes it's really hard to come back from that frustration. Sometimes you just got to take a deep breath. You just got to, take a couple of what I like to call safe laps or safe corners, just slow, steady. Let your brain process everything that just happened, settle yourself down, and the best way to do it is just take deep breaths and go, it's a long race, I got the pace. You have to have confidence in yourself as well. Things are going to happen that are well beyond your control as well in racing conditions, especially around a difficult racetrack like Le Mans. You just got to dust yourself off, and you just got to try to get the car back around for the rest of the race. You never know, every other racer could potentially have the same things happen to them at any point in this race, especially as the cars wear down, the drivers start to get tired longer in the race. Just got to try to keep your focus. You just got to try to stay cool. You got to try to stay calm and collected. You have a race strategy, stick to it. If a lot of racers have a plan B in case of situations like some of the drivers have had here today. And you just got to see what you can do with it. And at the end of the day, points are points. So, yeah, I mean, what else can you say? It's tough. It's tough. Petrolhead closed right up on our podium here, and we do have a car off the track there, so alright, we got Type R here in 8th, we got Tron in 9th, we got Egon here in 10th place, we've got TDC here in 11th, and rocking and rolling here. So Terroraiser here in the race lead. And it's 4 seconds. So the gap was 5.8. About 2 laps ago, maybe 1.5 laps ago, as we head into the first chicane here at the end of the first Mulsanne straight. So we're heading to that second part of the Mulsanne straight. Now the Mulsanne straight used to be just a big, long, straight, huge run, but of course, again, due to driver safety and cars getting airborne at such high rates of speeds, and especially now with how fast the cars go, they added the chicanes into the racetrack to slow the cars down, force them to slow the cars down, and just kind of control the rate of pace that the drivers are coming down the straightaways. So again, safety for the racers is why the changes were made. Le Mans, they were made quite a few years ago here at the racetrack, and I think that it provides for good tight racing for the most part. Obviously, the world famous 24-hour Le Mans happens right here at this racetrack, and has been for many of years. And I think that the addition of the chicanes has been a great improvement to the racing as well here. So, sometimes things are done for the sake of the safety of the drivers, but even for the sake of the safety of the drivers, sometimes it really makes for some great things. And the chicanes in between the Mulsanne have really added some complexity and some intensity to the racing at Le Mans, no matter what class of car it is that's on the racetrack. Alright, second place driver Mike, 1972 here. He's doing a good job of trying to track on Razor. Razor's picking a little bit of time back up on him here as the racers progress. We've got Petrolhead here in third position as well. We've got Dialful Racing in fourth, half-second track limit penalty. These penalties are really tough here at Le Mans. You have to serve them in a spot where you're coming into a very high-speed acceleration zone, and you just get into your acceleration zone, get into your higher gears where your power is going to stretch out this car, and you got to serve that penalty. And it's actually just coming up around the corner here, so this is going to be a good example here. Right now he's got 2.18 seconds behind Petrolhead. He's going to serve that half-second penalty that would by rights put him at 2.6 seconds in behind Petrolhead if it was just a half-second track limit penalty. But by the time he gets back up to race pace, you can see he has already lost 1.3 and still growing 1.4 as we enter into the Porsche curves. Almost 1.5 seconds from that half-second track limit penalty. Huge losses here at Le Mans when you're carrying penalty. We got Bar 27 here in 5th place. We got Iron Knight tucked right in behind here in 6th, and these two playing Very smart racing strategy here right now, and that's working out good for Supra. He's gotten around Type R. He's in 7th place. He's making his way up to Iron Knight and Bar 27 in 5th and 6th place. So essentially this could become a 3-car train if the drivers were to play nice, and that 3-car train may have an opportunity. Where's Bar? I mean, 12 seconds up in the 4th place here. If these guys can start playing together and utilizing those big, long, high-powered runs to slipstream each other and push each other up those long straights, they can close that 12-second gap, you would think, within 3 or 4 laps if they can do it efficiently without making mistakes. But you can see Bar 27 got a really, really good run. Heading out of the final chicane now, coming across start-finish line to start lap number 6, but he blows the corner a little bit there. That is going to allow those two to close right back up on him, and now it is a 3-way battle here for 5th, 6th, and 7th place between Iron Knight, Bar 27, and Supra. Iron Knight goes on the defense there, puts Supra on the outside. Supra is hoping to hold out there to get the inside track, and he does. He does get a little bit of a hole wide. Bar makes a mistake. He goes and takes the runaway lane, gets out of the way of that battle happening, and behind him, that was great racing awareness there by Bar 27. He tucks right back in behind this battle. He's got 30 tires, holds that corner beautifully, and is still side by side here from Supra and Iron Knight. But Bar 27 picks a line here, and that's going to be beneficial for whichever car he decides to get in behind here. And I thought they were going to go 3 wide through the mole saw, and there you can see Type R lurking in the background here now as well. So there we go. Bar 27 gives the push to Supra in the Audi up in front there, and that was a pretty aggressive push there. It wasn't quite an effective bump draft, so to speak, but boy, hard under braking here are these three, and here we go through the first through the first set of S's at the end of the first Mulsanne straight here, heading into the second Mulsanne straight. I'm getting tongue-tied here. It is Supra, and he's starting to gain an advantage on Bar 27. Now that is that Audi DRS right there, getting that early power down and quick acceleration, and that's just enough to start growing a gap on these cars. But then the cars will close back up on him here a little bit at the top end. So Petrolhead here now in 3rd place, so he's sitting on the podium here now, and this man is on a mission. He is tracking, and he is now 1.4 seconds in behind Mike 1972. This is a driver on a mission here currently right now, so let's get through our field here. We've got Hairraiser in 1st position. He's in that Honda NSX for Team Rad, and again, you know, he just he was ahead of all the trouble in the early parts of the race here, and he's got nothing but clean air and no pressure, so just managing his pace right now and managing the race. He's had that gap right around that 5-second mark here for the whole time. It was a little bit higher than we're seeing it now, but it seems to have just kind of settled into a constant right around that 4.5 to 5-second mark from Mike 1972 chasing him behind. But I suspect that that is quickly going to change here with Petrolhead really closing in. And oh boy, do you see what I see, ladies and gentlemen? I see some windshield wipers on the Nissan GTR of Petrolhead. So just when you think this race cannot get any more interesting, it looks like we got some rain in the forecast here today. Clouds, it's getting gray, it's getting gloomy, and it's game on here. So you can see the wipers stopped on this part of the racetrack, so the drivers have a decision to make here. They're getting in towards pit lane. They're getting low on fuel. Are we going to see the drivers come in, make a pit stop here, and take on rain tires? We do not have the advantage of weather radar like the drivers do, and we're going to see Petrolhead come in, whoosh, locking her up under braking there. Yeah, he's going to make contact with the wall there. That was an ugly pit entry right there by Petrolhead, but yeah, he gets through. So Mike's 1972, he's going to go around again. Hairraiser's coming in, and boy, look at those absolutely sticker new tires. You can see the gloss on those tires. They are so sticker new, and let's see what Hairraiser opts to do here. Is he going to take on just a fresh set of mediums here, or are we going to see some wet tires go onto this race car? We're going to let the pit crews tell us what to expect on the racetrack here, and from what we can see, it looks like another set of racing medium tires going on this Honda. So we're going to stick with Hairraiser here as he comes out of pit lane, and let's see. He's gone to the racing hard tire here. Alright, so Hairraiser has jumped onto the racing hard tire. We have pretty much everybody was on the same tire, I think, at the start of the race. Mike 1972 here on mediums. Supra is also on the mediums. We have Iron Knight on the mediums. Here, Razor just came off of mediums, went to some sticker fresh hard tires. We've got Petrolhead here. He's also on some sticker fresh hards. He was on mediums. Egon is on mediums, has yet to pit. Dieful Racing is now on hards, so some sticker fresh tires for him as well. Bar 27 also comes out on the racing hard tire. Type R is also coming out on the racing hard tire, so I would assume Drone Kobe is going to be coming out on the same strategy. However, he may have been on the racing hard tire coming into pit lane and now going on to the racing medium, and that is actually the case here. So Drone Kobe starting on that racing hard tire. We got TDC Gaming here. Looks like he went from medium to the hard tire, and there we go. We got Mark is back on track and moving here. He's going to be about 2 laps down currently, but whatever car issues he's having seems to be currently getting the car up and down the racetrack right now, so he is moving. All right. So, Mike 1972 is our current race leader. Hair Razor has been leading this race right from the get-go here. Of course, he just made a pit stop, so that has allowed Mike 1972 to retain the race lead due to that pit stop. With that being said, you can see that the fuel tank is getting low here in this car. And of course, that means we're going to see a pit stop coming from Mike 1972 when he comes back around the racetrack. Now, the bigger question is at this point, I mean, that's not a lot of fuel left in the car. He's probably got 5, maybe 6 liters of fuel left in the tank there. And he's only at a little over the midway point, maybe just at the midway point around this racetrack. So the bigger question is, does he have the fuel to get to the end of the lap on his own power, or is the electric assist motor for when these drivers run out of fuel essentially going to take him around the pit lane? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. And that's just a game feature. That's not a real feature in these cars. It's a game thing. And the only thing that makes sense when you think about it logically and how these cars can continue to drive around the racetrack at 50 miles an hour when they're completely out of fuel would be exactly that, an electric assist motor that is getting these cars around that basically lasts long enough to get a lap around the racetrack, I would assume. And honestly, not the worst things in the world to have, I suppose. So Mike 1972 is coming through the Porsche curves here now, and he is going to get there on his own power here, but he's probably sitting on about 1 or 2% fuel by the time he comes into pit lane here. So let's much cleaner entry there from Mike 1972 than we've seen from some of our drivers. He's on 1% fuel as he comes in. Now Supra, surprisingly enough, this car using as much DRS as it does to maintain its pace around the racetrack, has quite a bit of fuel left in the tank of this race car. He's been scrapping hard all race long here. He's come back from a couple of crazy incidents early on in the race. Currently right now sitting in second place, but he is going to opt to come into pit lane, and you know, having that much extra fuel in the tank is going to be time gain on the racetrack. We got Iron Knight coming into pit lane here, so Hair Razor should, by rights, retain the race lead back from those 3 drivers that are making their first pit stops here. So I kind of thought we'd only see a 1-stop race here today, but it does appear that the fuel window is only going to allow for the drivers to get a 2-stop minimum here today. So we're going to see 2 stops from all our drivers here on our racing track today. And Hair Razor is still in the race lead. Petrolhead has jumped Mike 1972 here in pit lane. He's currently sitting in second due to the time gained in pit lane. Mike 1972 is in third place, and you can see the differences in the fuel load that the drivers took. We have Dieful Racing in 4th place. He's having a great race here today as well. Just noting, everybody, again, we said at the beginning of the broadcast that this driver has the potential to win a championship star in this community, in these series, in these events that are ran here by the Gran Turismo racing community, showing us that he definitely has the pace to do it. We've got Supra here in 5th place, and like I said, this driver has pace for days. He's just been working on refining that pace and finding consistency and getting around the racetrack on a more clean, consistent basis. And as he continues to do that and work on that this season, the pace is really starting to show in finishing position on the racetrack. We've got Bar 27 here in 6th place and looking pretty solid here so far early on in the race. And I did say we were going to see some spacing out of these guys. Surprisingly enough, the spacing isn't really that big. Couple seconds between cars is not that much here at Le Mans, especially if one just makes a small mistake. That small mistake, as you've seen, a half-second penalty relates to a 1.5-second time loss, so a wiggle in a corner could easily cost you a half-second on a driver who gets through clean and crisp. Got Tyrone Kobe here in 9th place. He's got 8 seconds to Type R. He's kind of in no man's land here right now. He's in a comfortable position to make some good push laps here. Egon, much of the same thing. A little bit more aware behind because he does have TDC Gaming from Team Red there, just a couple seconds in behind, but not currently putting any immediate pressure on him there. I just got to be aware that he's there. We've got a half-second penalty there from TDC Gaming as well, and that's going to affect his... most certainly going to affect this lap anyways around the racetrack. We got Soupy Mark again. He's just back moving and grooving here, and it seems like he's actually gaining some time back from the race leader, so we know he has pace, and it's good to see whatever issue that car was having is that they've got it sorted out. So alright, so you can see Petrohead's just off in the distance, 2.8 seconds. Now, Hairraiser was doing a pretty good job at managing about a 4.5 to 5 second gap in that first stint over Petrolhead and Mike 1972 in Diaful Racing. So let's see how he manages here. The gap is a little bit tighter this time around, and Petrolhead's on a slightly lighter car with fuel load as well, so that GTR has proven to be quite efficient here so far. Around Le Mans as far as lap times go, as he again has had a great recovery drive here today himself as well, and there's definitely going to be lots to talk about for Driver of the Day awards here this week in the Discord server. We've got Mike 1972 here in 3rd place. We've got Diaful Racing here in 4th position. We've got Supra in 5th place. We got Bar 27 in 6th place. We've got Iron Knight 7422 here in 7th position. We've got Type R closing in 2.9 seconds in behind in 8th place. We got Tyrone Kobe closing in on Type R as well. That gap down to 6.9. It was a little over 8 seconds last time we went through the field here. So the Humble Guys racing driver showing his pace. We've got Egon eating a little bit of sand there. He gets it just a little bit wrong coming out at the end of the second Mulsanne straight there, and he had to not the second Mulsanne straight, sorry, this is sector 5 of the racetrack, I believe, but getting into the sand trap coming out of that high speed zone, and he gets himself back on track. He's going to lose that position to TDC Gaming now, who's up into 10th place, and we got Soupy Mark still moving and grooving, man. 12th place. Alright, so it is Hairraiser here in the race lead, and not a comfortable lead here in this stint right now. He has Petrolhead closing in. 1.8 seconds is now that gap, and it seems to be closing down to 1.6, down to 1.5. Hairraiser gets a nice tidy through there. He gets a good high-speed sweep through that kink, but it seems like that GTR has got the answer. As you can see, that time is just progressively dropping down, a 100th at a time, 100th at a time, 100th at a time here up the Mulsanne straight. So we're getting ready to make a hard right-hander into a set of S's here to take us up into the second part of the Mulsanne straight. And there's some good little battles happening on here. It's not immediate fighting for those positions, but it's most certainly drivers trying to get it to be a battle for that position, as Petrolhead is really working hard here, closing in, and it's 1.4 seconds here. So we're going to come back to that shortly. Then we'll check out the rest of the field here. We got 6.4 seconds to first and second place here for Mike 1972. So pit lane really costing some time there for him on that first pit stop stint, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's just the middle part of the race. It's going to come down to this last set of pit stops that these drivers take, and let's see how that strategy plays out and see where these drivers end up. Diaful Racing is 28 seconds in behind, and I'm not sure what happened to Diaful Racing. He must have made a mistake there. He was much closer than that. Now he's kind of at the mercy of this mid-pack here. You can see they're all closing in on him here, and that mid-pack's led by Supra right now in 5th place. In that Audi, that Audi, it has been a race for him here today in that car. We've got Bar 27 here in 6th place. He is less than a second in behind Supra here, and you can tell when the slipstream starts to take effect because you see that time start to drop quite significantly. So it's not really in effect there within that 9/10 of a second range. So like I said, as these guys get within about 3 or 4 tenths of a second is when it really starts to take effect here in these cars in the series. And Iron Knight is just 2.8 seconds in behind here, and that means that Type R and Tron Kobe are tracking here as well. So Type R here in 8th place. Tron Kobe, we knew is tracking Type R. That was 8 seconds, now down to 2.15 seconds. So Tron Kobe is definitely moving at a good pace here. Oh boy, and TDC gets it just a little bit wrong there as he hooks that curb in through the chicane, and he manages to keep it underneath of him there. That car was straight sideways coming through that chicane there, and he gathered that thing right back up, but that is definitely going to cost him some time to Egon here in 11th place. And Mark here, he's gaining time. He's gaining time. I mean, it's tough to gain time on drivers of your pace, but he's gained 4 seconds on that last lap alone. So 342. 488 is the current fast lap on the racetrack, and I suspect that we're going to see that potentially be challenged here at some point yet today. There is a point for that fastest lap for a driver like Subi Mark, our championship points leader. He's currently riding in last place. He's a couple laps down here today. Just had not been his day here today at Le Mans. And so he's just trying to collect up whatever points he can, but that fastest lap point is really an important point for him leading into the latter part of this race. So I do suspect the strategy for him now is more so that fast lap point to try and just soften the blow that he's going to take here in that points lead today. But right now it's Hair Razor in the lead. It's Petrolhead here in second. The guy chasing him here is in third place. There's definitely some positions in between Mike 1972 and Subi Mark here, and that's going to mean a very interesting final half of the season here in these Group 2 cars. So if these guys think that Le Mans is tough in the season, this is not the toughest circuit on the schedule this season. We have seen these Group 2 cars take on some pretty big, hard, fast, grueling racetracks already this season. This is still not the hardest track these drivers are going to tackle this season. This is a pro track list kind of style schedule here this season from the GTRC, and without even really realizing that that's what was thrown together here this season, it is a very technical racing list here this season with these Group 2 cars. So GG's to the drivers every week coming out here in huge numbers as well to try and test their might against some of the best circuits in the world here on Gran Turismo 7 in these Group 2 class cars, because these things are fun. These things are really, really fun. So there's Petrolhead here still in the lead, and I apologize if the sound isn't quite perfectly balanced here. We're still making adjustments with our new piece of equipment, so yeah, again, I do apologize if it's not quite right. Just do let us know. Obviously the feedback's important. So we have Mike 1972 here in third place as well, and as we're kind of going through the field, we're going to do exactly that. We're just going to take a little check on everything. Everything seems to be moving along pretty nicely. I know, Doug, that's heartbreaking, dude. I feel for you, my guy. Feel for you, my dude. Alright, Diaflow Racing, 32 seconds in behind now, so he's losing pace with that front group up ahead, so maybe just not comfortable on these racing hard tires, and that could very well be the case. Some drivers don't do well on certain tires. I mean, that's racing. That's just the way it goes. So there's Diaflow Racing here in fourth place. We got Bar 27 here in fifth. We got Iron Knight in sixth. We got Super here in seventh. We got Tron in eighth. We got Type R in ninth place. We've got TDC here in 10th. We've got Egon in 11th, and we got Subi Marker, championship points leader here, rounding out the field today. It's just not been the great day here for him. So it is Petrolhead here in the race lead now. So Petrolhead has caught and overtaken Hair Razor here. And it's going to definitely be too late to see that move happen. But Hair Razor looks like he's going to respond here now as we head up in towards the Porsche curves. And it's about to get spicy here at the GTRC, as Petrolhead is now our new race leader here on lap 10 of 16. And as he comes around, you can see he's starting to open that gap up on Hair Razor. So he closed up a 3-second gap here over about 3 laps to get around Hair Razor before the end of lap 10 here. And I would assume he just used slipstream there. And both those drivers getting it a little bit wide coming out of the Porsche curves there. And I'm not sure if that's going to be penalties for both those drivers. It doesn't appear to be a penalty there for Petrolhead. We'd see it on top of the car if that were the case. And our 0-1 driver, he's got 0-1 on his car because he's our defending champion. Coming through here in first place, and it's a 3:43, so it was a good lap there from Petrol, and 3:45 from Hair Raiser, so a little bit of a mistake there. Potentially last lap in one of the corners, and that's all it took there. But now you can see the gap is growing a little bit here, and let's see if that GTR can now open the gap up like he closed the gap off to try and get the lead from Hair Raiser. Mike 1972, 10.6 seconds in behind, and not really gaining, not really losing. He's going to need an efficient pit stop here, I think, at the end of this stint to really try to work that gap up a little bit closer, and maybe even try to get himself in that sight range of those drivers again around the racetrack here. We got Dialful Racing in 4th place, and he's in a battle for his life right now with Iron Knight and Bar 27. And Iron Knight currently sitting in 5th place, now in behind his teammate Diaful. We got Bar 27 sitting in behind in 6th, and Super is in 7th. We're going to see what that gap is here in between those cars in just a moment. It's not too much here now, so... But here we go, nose to tail for 4th, 5th, and 6th place here. So let's see what happens here. Are we going to see the team drivers play nice with each other? Are we going to see them battle for this position? Or are we going to see Bar 27 have to pick them apart one at a time here? Oh, and there we go, up the inside, side by side around the kink, and that's going to... Iron Knight's going to go around wide there, and that's going to probably pick him up a penalty. Bar 27 is going to put himself in between the two teammates there, and it is... a position of change positions between Bar 27 and Iron Knight there. So 5th and 6th place swapping positions around there, and no penalty there for Iron Knight, so that is great to see. Stewart's giving him a little break there, as that was a little bit caused due to the battling happening between the two drivers. A little bit of contact there right before the corner entry, and obviously the racing officials were more than aware of the situation at hand and didn't hand out the penalty there. And I think that was a good call by our racing officials here at Le Mans today. Again, in the spirit of racing, they want these racers to race. They just want them to keep it within track limits. So Iron Knight here in 6th place. We got Trone Kobe here in 7th. And I mean, he can see that group up there. It's 3.7 seconds away. He's gotten around Type R and now Supra. So I mean, Trone is on a mission. Supra's got a half-second penalty here, and that's unfortunate. That's going to cost him a little bit of time and that gap to Trone Kobe. And Type R is only 6.2 seconds in behind, so that's going to allow him to close up on Supra a little bit. We got TDC Gaming here in 10th place with Egon just in behind there in 11th. It's now 14 seconds, and these two have kind of been trading that spot around a little bit back and forth here between them. And it's Subi Mark here still about 2 laps down after a mechanical issue with that car. Got it sorted out, got it back on track, and just trying to gather up what points he can here right now on our racetrack. All right, so Hair Raiser's gotten the lead back from Petrol Hit. Now, we're not surprised to see that. Again, this is a very high-speed racetrack. Slipstream is a big factor here in these long runs, and these drivers are just utilizing that slipstream, that little extra speed to get around each other here before the braking zones. So this is what we expect to see at a track like this. You expect to see drivers work together to break free from other drivers, but you also expect to see quick, efficient passes at the end of long, high-speed sectors into braking zones, and that's exactly what we've been seeing up front here. These two are smart enough to know hard battling is going to allow Mike 1972 to start closing the gap up, but you know, if they just make it quick, clean, and efficient, then there's no issue on that gap. And as we say that, they're both coming into pit lane, and Petrolhead's going to actually pass Hair Raiser in pit lane as Hair Raiser gets himself into the wall there. That was a great job for him. Realized Petrol was in behind and just waiting for Petrol to go around before he continued on. So a couple of drivers struggling with pit entry here today. Petrol was the driver that struggled with the entry on the first pit stop there, and this time it's Hair Raiser. So Mike 1972 is going to go around here again. And you can see again, it's it's not sunny out here. It's very cloudy. It's looks like the wind may be picking up a fair bit here. It was 12 feet per second at the beginning of the race. We're at the 17.3 feet per second here. So a weather system is definitely starting to track over Le Mans here. Now, whether or not that weather system has any moisture in it is yet to be seen, but it's lap 11 of 16. We still have a good solid 18 minutes of racing left here. We got pretty much the whole pack coming into the field here, and you can see Iron Knight trying to check up not to get into the back end of bar 27 in the pit lane there, and hopefully that doesn't pick him up a penalty, because that's going to be a costly penalty if it does. We got Super coming into pit lane here. We got Type R coming into pit lane there. Super getting through nice and clean and efficient. Type R getting through efficient. And are we going to see TDC come in here as he comes around the Porsche curves here right now? It's hard to say. but kudos on him for going old school with that 2008 Epson Nissan GTR right there. That's a classic Group 2 racing car right there. Love to see it. Page not found. No, ain't that the truth? And he's gonna go around. So lots of guys in pit lane here right now. So Mike 1972 takes the race lead back over again. And I guess the question is, how long is he gonna run this racing hard tire before he goes into pit lane? Because he's potentially coming up against all these guys coming out of pit lane a lap earlier now on, there we go, that racing medium tire. As I suspect, it's petrol. Leapfrogs Hair Razor in pit lane by about 2 seconds there. He changes the gap around basically. Hair Razor in third place. We got Iron Knight here in fourth place and comes out on the racing hard tire. Now, is an interesting strategy. We got Diafol there in fifth in the racing medium. TDC still on that racing hard tire with bar 27 shaking him down. He's on that medium tire here, so it's gonna be a little tough to get around him right at the moment until the cars kind of top themselves out, but that soft tire grip should really allow bar 27 to find his way around into the more technical parts of the racetrack. He just needs to be close enough to use the extra grip underneath his race car. Ooh, in order to make it happen, he misjudged how quickly he was coming in there. Made a little bit of rear contact there with TDC Gaming there, and then he gives him a little bit of a push through there back up the Mulsanne straight, the second Mulsanne straight there to get him back up to speed. So a good friendly play there from bar 27 as he made a little mistake on the braking there, but he was thinking exactly what we were talking about right there. He just didn't quite execute it properly, and it's tough. Closing speeds are quick in these cars, so in real life that would have been a massive accident going into the chicane. There would have been shrapnel in cars everywhere. Yeah. So I mean, we're sim racing, so thankfully they just keep on going. We got Tron Kobe here in 8th place. We've got Supra in 9th position. It's been such an up and down race for some of these drivers today. We got Type R in 10th place. We've got Egon in 11th, and we've got Subi here in 12th position. So, Mike 1972 is our current race leader, but at some point here in the race, he's going to have to make a pit stop, and I can't imagine that it's going to be any time past here. I am expecting to see this driver pit in here. He knows he's up against a different tire compound, a faster tire compound. However, the difference is that fuel. He took the time to take the extra time loss in his first pit stop to take extra fuel, and now he comes into pit lane with more fuel than any other driver that has stopped. So this is where the pit strategy may put him right back in that battle for first and second place. I've had my suspicions on that as I've seen it progressing. I mean, he's only going to have to put in maybe 20 to 30 liters of fuel, where some of these guys had to put in 40 liters. And that is going to make 3-4 second difference in pit lane here. So Petrohead's coming around. He's our current race leader. If he comes out ahead of Mike 1972, currently the game has him out as pit lane exit is just at the end of turn 1, the kink here. And we don't see Mike yet, and Hair Racer is going to go around and grab that position, and there he goes. So Mike 1972 is released. So let's see what the gap is here to Hair Racer. Okay, the gap was 10 seconds, almost 10 seconds flat before pit stops here from our top 3 drivers. Let's see what that gap is now to our race leader. This was to the race to second place, so I mean it was about 11 seconds. We call it 12 to the race leader, and he's down to 8.2, so he gained 2 seconds back in pit lane to the overall race leader, and he gained about 5 seconds to second place. So interesting. Let's see how these drivers managed this final stint. Got Iron Knight here in 4th place. We got Bar 27 here in 5th. He's got Diafol Racing all up in his business here in 6th place. We're going to sit with these two for a moment here as this battle progresses. And this is the closest thing we got to a battle right now. And I mean, these guys are nose to tail, pushing each other up and down the racetrack. And you got to be careful with bump drafting in these cars. Obviously, they got a very sensitive aerodynamic package on them, and you don't want to be bending that rear aerodynamic package that goes in on the underneath the rear bumper of these cars. Is very important that they're set a certain way, they're set a certain height for a very certain reason, and you can bump draft in these cars, but you got to be very, very careful how you do it. You got to be very gentle coming in, and you can see these drivers are absolutely just trying not to clobber each other in and out of these corners here right now, but also looking for an edge to get around each other here. So Bar 27 currently sitting in 5th place and behind Iron Knight, and I'm not sure if he's aware that that driver's on a different tire compound or not, but doing a great job on that hard tires, Iron Knight. Doubtful Racing here in 6th place, and he's, he's tucked in. He's in the slipstream. That's about the slipstream distance. He's going to make the move up the inside there to bar 27. Again, more to try and get clean air for braking than any other reason. And it worked out for him. He just comes right back out in behind bar 27 there. So Iron Knight loses out no positions there. He got a good run through there. He actually opened up the gap on this group a little bit here. And the only way these two are really going to catch him right now is to start working together. And Doubtful Racing's like, now I'm going to put myself right in between you and my teammate here now. And bar 27 is going to respond. He was like, I think that was a little too early, mate. I think I can get you under braking here. And we go into the corner. He goes deep into the first part of the corner. He gets the cutback blocked off there, but he goes deep into the second part of the corner. A little bit of contact there between him and Doubtful Racing, and they continue on out of the second chicane here. And it looks like no harm, no foul there. We do not see penalties, so again, racing officials deeming that more due to elbows out racing between the two drivers and not penalizing one out of the two drivers for that. If anything, you'd probably see him penalize both drivers for that, I would suppose. But boy, racing officials are really letting these guys go at it here right now. We love to see it. So Petrolhead has a 4-second gap over Hair Razor, has a 5-second gap over Mike, who has a quarter lap over the rest of the pack here at the moment. So the podium is kind of in the race for themselves, and then there's the rest of the field here right now that's battling basically for 4th place overall at the moment. Then we got 5 or 6 cars involved in this fight here, led by Iron Knight, currently sitting, like I said, in 4th place. And then he's got bar 27, Doubtful Racing, Trone Colby, and the Supra up in behind. Both Trone and Supra go deep into the corner there, and let's just stick with this here for a second as everybody gets through. Good run there by bar 27. Doubtful Racing's there in 6th place. Supra comes out ahead of Trone, and Type R is about 17 seconds in behind. So let's get back up to let's stick with this battle here right now. We're gonna sit here with bar 27 here for the time being, and let's go with our hood cam here for a moment as we head through the Porsche curves. And you can see he can't really attack Iron Knight right now in front of him, but he does definitely need to be thinking about this guy in behind. This guy is in striking distance. He's right there. He's just managing that gap right now. That's a decent little gap to manage. If bar 27 were to make a mistake through the Porsche curves, he's close up. Oh, and it gets around Iron Knight. Speaking of making a mistake through the Porsche curves, Iron Knight makes a mistake through the Porsche curves, and bar 27 now leads this pack here in 4th place. But Iron Knight is right up on top of him here under braking, and oh boy, he's feeling some pressure here from the Doubtful Racing team, and you can see Supra and Trone Colby just off in the background there. And it looks like those clouds have disappeared here, and that weather system has moved past the racetrack here, so very fortunate for the drivers. So that really could have changed up the racing strategy here. So quick look left, quick look right, not seeing anything doing here, but boy, we got some action happening back there. Iron Knight defending against Doubtful. He gets it wrong. Doubtful is going to take the position away from him, move himself up into 4th place, and Iron Knight now finds himself down 2 positions, and a charging Supra here as well in 6th place. So 7th place, pardon me. Let's jump on with Supra. Oh, Supra has that half-second track limit penalty here, and it's going to be all for naught. And Trone Colby goes out wide there. Dirty air, a little bit factor over there. And that's probably going to pick him up a half-second track limit penalty as well. But that'll alleviate some of the pressure here from Iron Knight. I mean, Iron Knight is fighting right now. He doesn't know which side to take. He's trying to break the toe, but I mean, Supra is there. He's in it. And he's just going to try and get as much distance as he can before he has to serve this penalty to hopefully stay in front of this driver at the penalty serving zone here. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Trone Colby coming in hot, closes that gap right back up on this pack. And it is now a 5-way battle from 4th down through 8th place here, with 2.5 laps remaining here at Le Mans. We got a half-second penalty here from Supra, and looks like Doubtful Racing is going to respond back here. He's going to pull up the outside, and he's going to try and get that inside line coming into the corner, but there you go. It just goes to show how hard it is to pass once these cars are up to speed. He goes to go around, and we're going 3 wide here into the chicane, and you can see Iron Knight backs out a little bit there, and unfortunately for Iron Knight, it's going to cost him another position there to Trone Colby as well. But boy, oh boy, almost 3 wide heading through that chicane there, and this is some hard racing here from this mid-pack right now. All the action is always in the mid-pack. Every week it seems like these mid-pack drivers put on a show. And Bar 27, I mean, he's trying to get out of Dodge right now. He doesn't want nothing doing with that, but he cannot shake this pack. You can see Supra is right on his bumper here right now. They're bobbing, they're weaving, they're all looking for clean air. They're all looking for position to get a move done. We're side by side between the teammates, between Iron Knight and Diathol Racing. Supra's going to take a look up the inside of Bar 27 here, and he's trying to use that car's advantage here. The early draw on power with that DRS, and he gets it done. He slots in front of Bar 27. He's now leading this pack up in the fourth place, and Supra has done exactly what he needs to do here with that. A lingering penalty. Just continue to make up as much time on the racetrack as he can, because this pack is going to gobble him up when that penalty gets served, and that's going to be very soon here. You can see Supra's holding tight here with Bar 27. He's just trying to stem this pack up a little bit with the hard battling here, and that's exactly what's happening. It's keeping the whole pack together. This is smart racing here by Supra. It's clean, it's hard, it's fair, and it's a pretty smart decision, because you can see he is going to lose time here. Watch, the pack is now going to gobble him here. That half-second penalty will lose him that position to Bar 27, but the DRS power in that Audi is keeping him in the fight, and Bar 27 is having a hard time getting around him here, and Supra's going to have to slot it in behind, just heading into the Porsche curves here. And boy, that was a tough pass there from Bar 27. The DRS of that Audi is where the advantage in this car is. It's that early acceleration in through the gears, and you can see it at work right there with that half-second penalty. We see that half-second penalty on a different car cost a second and a half to a driver. That half-second penalty almost didn't cost him anything there, and we got one driver going really wide there. I think that was Iron Knight off in the background. That might pick him up a penalty for that as well. But whew, mid-pack racing at its finest here from the Gran Turismo racing community. Diathol Racing here in 6th place, and yeah, that's what I figured. Iron Knight's going to pick up a half-second track limit penalty for that exit of the Porsche curves, just a little bit too wide there. Troy Kobe's here in 8th place, and he is still right in behind this pack. Type R in 9th, 21 seconds in behind. We got TDC Gaming here in 10th place. We got Egon in 11th place, and we got Subi Mark here in 12th position. Petrolhead is a 3:41.505, and you can see Mark is pushing hard here. I think he's trying to go for that purple lap, but Petrol just improving his fastest lap on the racetrack here just this last time around, and we're on lap 15 of 16 here. So we're almost there. We're less than 2 to go here as he comes around the chicane here, leading into the Porsche curves. Wasn't 100% sure where on the racetrack we were right there. You can see Hairraiser tracking in behind, 6.1 seconds behind. I think that's Mike 1972 just behind Hairraiser there as well. So very interesting. So here we go. It's Petrolhead here coming around the final braking zone before we head towards the Porsche curves here. Hairraiser in 2nd place. Mike 1972 is 3.3 seconds in behind. He's closing in on Hairraiser here, actually. He's tracking quite well. So we've got Bar 27 still managing to stay ahead of Supra here in 4th place. Supra again making the charge coming out of the chicane here again, where this car is stronger than that NSX is coming out of that exit. It's stronger than most of these cars, as a matter of fact, in that sense. But you can see right there, the car tops out, and that NSX is going to respond right back. He just tucks in, eats a little bit of slipstream up there, gets back into the toe, and we've seen Bar make this move a couple times here. Back into the inside, into the second set of S's, into the second Mulsanne straight, and he gets it done quite efficiently there that time. Nice, clean, efficient pass there, and he's made it a couple of times here. So the Supra's not going to let him go anywhere here, though. That Audi is going to be just all over him here, and this battle is going to be pretty active here, I think, for the remainder of this race between the two drivers, barring that none of them make a huge mistake here. We're side by side again. Right now, Bar 27 is just behind Supra here, and Supra's got the inside track this time, going into the corner, and ooh, he was really long on the brakes there, really trying to get that car slowed down, had the anchors absolutely full out, and somehow manages to still slot ahead of Bar 27 here. So again, that DRS button allowing him just to out-accelerate the NSX of Bar 27 here ahead. We're keeping our eye on this back 3 and behind there, Diathol, Iron Knight, and Tron as well. That battle could start kicking off at any time here as well. So Bar 27 now takes over the position back on Supra, and that's slipstream driving in this racetrack here, and that is exactly what we expect to see. Quick, fast passes right into braking zones. Bar 27 shows how it's done there, and these two are having a cracking battle right now. Well, I tell you what, great racing here by these two. And again, the power in that Audi's exit is insane. He gets the job done on exit there, just clear cut, and now Bar 27 again is going to have to use the straightaway in the slipstream to get back ahead of Supra. Whew. This is some fun racing we got going on right here. All right, we got to get back up front here for a minute because we do have a race leader starting his final lap here, and again, that gap is quite big, so we have to make sure that we don't miss these guys coming across the line here. He's got a 7-second gap over Hair Razor. This, however, is starting to close up a little bit here as we enter into the first Mulsanne straight here. Hair Razor and Mike's 1972 are only separated by 2.3 seconds, and that is for second and third place. So this battle for fourth and fifth place for the time being has cooled down just for a moment there. Super's gotten a slight little gap over bar 27 there, 3/4 of a second at the moment. Dialful Racing here in sixth place. He's got Tro and Kobe has managed to get around Iron Knight here in seventh. Iron Knight now in eighth place. He had that penalty. We have Type R here in ninth position with TDC Gaming here in 10th place as well. Egon in 11th and Subi here in 12th place. And you can tell that's what he's been doing. He's been trying to push for that fast lap. Just trying to get the fastest lap he can around the racetrack here. So trying to scoop up that extra bonus point there to help hopefully keep that points gap a little bit heading in around number 5. But it is Petrolhead here in the race lead. He's purple, actually, as he comes through the sector. He improved last time around as well, through 41.1. We got Hair Razor here in second place. We've got Mike 1972 here. Lost just a little bit of time for that last sector to Hair Razor. And this battle has cooled down just a little bit here. Supra up into fourth place. We got Bar 27 in fifth. We got Diaful here in sixth. We got Trone in seventh. We got Iron Sight in eighth place. We got Type R in ninth position. TDC in 10th, Egon in 11th, and Subi here in 12th place. So race leader here. Let's sit on board with him for a moment till I assess where we're at on the race track, because this battle is still kicking off back here. It looked like it was anyways on the radar. It's not. They're all separated here now, so I think we're safe to sit on our race leader here till the end of the way. Anything could change here, though. Alright, so it's Petrolhead here. He's got a long run here now with a little kink in between to set up for the Porsche curves. Rip through the Porsche curves, 2 chicanes at the end of this racetrack for a round 4 victory here, potentially for our GTR driver. And I suspected that this car was going to be strong here. This is these Nissan Group 2 cars are designed for big, high-speed racetracks like Le Mans, and it's showing its prowess here again today. So, not surprised to see the GTR up front, challenging for a race win here today at Le Mans. Have a lot of experience with this particular Group 2 class of car and manufacturer of car. It's one of my favorite ones to drive. It's the NSX is a great, well-rounded car, but this car is designed for high-speed circuits. And it's going to be a race win here for Team Rad's Petrolhead, and a little improvement on that fast lap there as well, at 3:40.462, and that was just slightly better than we've seen in practice here earlier today. It's going to be second place to Hair Razor. Great race from Hair Razor there, and he's going to be tickled about that. We've got Mike 1972 here in third place, and Supra, what a battle from this driver today, all day long, up, down, and all around in this field, battling and losing and battling some more, and losing a little bit here, and winning here, and battling some more, and he's going to find himself a minute behind the podium here today, but he's going to find himself potentially here in fourth place. We still have a few corners remaining. Bar 27 still in striking distance if something drastic happens here. But good, solid race coming from Supra here today in the Audi. And we knew that the car was going to be good here. So showing that it was quite so good here. If it wasn't for some of the unfortunate stuff that happened in early race there, he could have been challenging potentially for that podium today here, I think. But racing is racing, and it happens. And he's going to sit here in about 4 corners here. Bar 27 is really closing up here. He's putting pressure on him here right now as they get to the end, and it's almost a drag race to the line, but we know that Audi's got way better acceleration rate. It's going to be Bar 27 just in behind there in 5th place. Dialful Racing in 6th place. Great race for him. Trone's going to bring it home here in 7th place as well. It's going to be Iron Knight bringing it home in 8th position. Good race for him there, and I don't think he maybe intended to get on those tires before the end of the race, but he managed it out, and he still got a great finish. So we got Type R here in 9th and TDC Gaming in 10th place, so he was just putting some pressure on Type R there, and just lost the car a little bit there, and that is going to end any chance at him having an easy pass on Type R here. Again, defensive specialist. It wasn't going to be easy to begin with, so Type R is going to bring it home here in 9th place. We've got TDC Gaming here in 10th. Good run here for that old Epson Nissan GTR. We've got Egon coming through here. It's going to be an 11th place finish for him here, and he is a VR driver here in the series as well, so he is just coming around, and I bet you that's an experience coming around this racetrack. I'm sure here in the VR2 setup. So Egon's going to bring it home here in 11th place. And again, he's just still learning this car a little bit here. He was really excited for this series so he can get a little more involved with these higher downforce cars, and he's starting to figure these things out. So we got Subi Mark coming around here. We know he was pushing for that fast lap. He has a 341.6 last time around. He definitely was challenging for it, but Petrolhead just had the answer today. And he's going to go a little bit wide there. That'll probably pick him up a track limit penalty right before the end of the race, just to add a little insult to injury. But yeah, he's going to bring it home, and he's still going to get some points here. And that's the important thing for him, is he is, again, the championship point standing leader coming into the race here today. Finishing in 12th place, definitely not ideal for him, but whatever was going on with the car, they got to sort it out. They got him back on a track to at least collect those points. And there we go. So it comes across the line there. So tough racing here from all our drivers today at Le Mans. But it is a race victory there for Petrolhead, and fastest lap point there as well. It's going to be Hairraiser in second, Mike 1972 in third, Supra in fourth, Bar 27 in fifth, Diaful Racing in sixth, Drone Kobe in seventh, Iron Knight in eighth. It's going to be Type R in ninth, The Damn Cat in 10th, Egon in 11th, Subi Mark in 12th, and Doug Barrow in 13th position. Alright, so just give me a moment here, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to go to the Be Right Back screen, and then we're going to jump into some podium interviews. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are in our interview room, and we have all of our drivers with us here. So we are going to hit a button, There we go. Now they can hear me. So the drivers can hear me. And then we'll start with our third place finisher here today. So 1 hour ish at Le Mans, 16 laps around this absolutely, I mean, iconic, famous racetrack, a very difficult racetrack. And it's said that if you really want to test your mettle as a racer, you got to do the 24-hour Le Mans. This racetrack will test even the best of the best racers. So you guys had it out tough today, and of course, the looming threat of potential rain always was, I'm sure, in the back of the drivers' minds today. Didn't happen here today, thankfully. But spicy race, lots of things happening early on in the race, and lots of drivers having to make recovery drives. But you were kind of ahead of most of the chaos at the beginning of the race and didn't have to persevere through some of that, which really gave the top three drivers a little bit of an advantage on the rest of the group. But, that battle became between the three of you very quickly, and great pace by all three of you. But pit strategy just kind of seemed to be the deciding factor here ultimately at the end of the day today. So talk us through your race, and congratulations on third place.
Yeah, actually, I came from last. I started 10th, I think, and I went back to 13th, but I'm not sure what happened in the first lap, but managed to get up in the podium place. I think at one point I was in second before the first pit stop, then petrol jumped me in the pit stop. I had to take on a little bit more fuel than him. I think I ran a lap longer. So my pit stop was ultimately a little longer than his, which put me behind for the middle stint. But yeah, it seemed to be a tough old race. That a lot of casualties. I think the first part of the race. Yeah, at one point actually I had to go between two cars. I didn't really have a choice. I don't like doing that, but it seemed to go okay. It was quite clean. I don't think I hit anybody off or put anybody off their race. But yeah, very interesting race.
Absolutely, and I mean that's Le Mans. There's certain sectors of this racetrack, especially early on in the race, lap one, even lap two, when you got a big field of cars, where you're coming out of a super long, huge, high-speed run. Everybody's tight together in that slipstream, tons of speed coming into the corner, and then everybody piles into the corner, and you get that accordion effect through the middle part of the pack. And sometimes, unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily work out for some of the cars in the middle of the pack, but sometimes everybody gets through. It kind of slows everybody down because everybody's got to just make sure that everybody gets through and moving in a forward direction. So that is correct. You did start in the back of the pack, so it was actually quite an incredible
Yeah.
race here for you as well. And we did
Yeah.
speculate that you purposely took a lot more fuel in your first pit stop stint to try and alleviate that fuel that you had to take in the last pit stop. Was that kind of the case? Because it definitely gained you some time in that overall gap at the end of the second stops.
Yeah, I think I gained about must have been 4 or 5 seconds after the second pit stop. Unfortunately, the pace wasn't there on the hard tyre at all. I was hoping that the boys up in front were on the medium tyres, but when I seen them pit the lap before on the hards, I thought, oh no, here we go. It's going to be a hard old slog the last stint. But it was a fun race, very enjoyable.
Absolutely, and we were speculating to the viewers that you guys have a tough race here today, and this is not even yet the toughest circuit on the racetrack. That will be our
Mhm.
finale here this season, as we wind things down here for Group Two drivers. So it was a good test to really kind of get yourselves prepared for our season finale here this season. But overall, pretty happy with how everything went here today at Le Mans.
Yeah, delighted, delighted. I didn't get a lot of chance to practice this week, but I'm pleasantly surprised with the result. Yeah, that'll do me. Yeah.
And any shout outs and thank yous you'd like to throw to the viewers watching at home?
Yeah, just as always, a shout out to yourself for the fantastic job you do streaming and the commentary, and to the guys for organising the race. Just thanks very much.
Absolutely, we appreciate it, and always a good chat with you. And I mean, unfortunately for our championship points leader here, just not having a good day today, and yeah, he's coming out at the back of the pack. So definitely going to tighten up the standings coming into round five. How do you prepare for the last half of your season now, knowing it's going to be mere a point or two separating you guys?
Yeah, I feel for Mark. That was an unlucky result for him. but I believe he should still be ahead in the standings. So it's not all lost for him. I'm sure he'll bounce back. Great driver that he is.
Absolutely, but the championship that much closer now after round 4 here for you. So can't wait to see what you have for us in 2 weeks' time in round 5.
Can't wait.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked to this guy a lot this season, but he's always been here on behalf of another driver finishing on the podium. Today, he gets to talk on his own behalf. He had a great race here today in early practice before we went live. He was looking real sharp on track, racing real strong with teammate Doug Burrow, who unfortunately had a severe mechanical issue very early on in the race and had to put it in the paddock. So a DNF there for Doug Burrow today, which is highly unfortunate. But Hairraiser had the pace today, and unfortunately, that GTR just a little out strategized and just slightly outpaced you. But great race here today, and you know you were one of the only one or two drivers that really got through that early race debacle cleanly. So very early on, you kind of got out into some clean, wide open air. You had a nice little gap, 5 seconds or so. You were doing a great job at managing that. What was going through your mind after the first pit stop? You know, near the end of that second stint, going into that final pit stop stint, Petrolhead had just recently gotten around you. What was going through your mind at that point in the race? And talk us through your day here today.
Yeah, I don't know what happened at the beginning there. It was a bit of a chaotic car show, but yeah, I managed to get around it, and like you say, I managed to keep the 5 second gap. Tried to. I don't know how I got there, to be honest, but anyway, I was trying my best, and then we come to the pits, and I knew that Petrol was pretty quick, and I know that Mark's pretty quick. Sorry, not Mark, Mike. I know that Mark's pretty quick, but Mike as well, and I was like, well, I need to go on to the hard tires and see how we get on, and I saw that Mike did an extra lap on his. I'm not sure whether he was on hards or mediums, but yeah, but that uh, Petrol's car was just so quick. I just couldn't keep up with it even from the second pit stop. I don't know what happened there. I must have I lost like a second or something like that, and then I just couldn't catch back up. It was just so quick. But yeah, and then I saw obviously Mike was catching me up, and I tried my best to keep at least a 3 second gap, so he couldn't catch me up or get in my slipstream, which on this track is quite strong. But yeah, it was amazing. Phew.
Absolutely, you know, very very difficult racetrack, technical in all sorts of different short shapes, forms, variations. No matter what class of car you put on this great racetrack, but you know, let's talk about you know, we had dynamic weather on here in the series as well, and there was a point right before you guys made your first set of pit stops where you know a weather system had moved in. It got really gray, it got gloomy. There was one point in time, I believe, we were sitting on Petrolhead's race car, and the windshield wipers had even started to go off a little bit on his windshield. Did rain had crossed your mind at all in this race? Were you guys monitoring that weather radar? What was going on with the team communication as far as the weather goes here today?
Yes, we was. Obviously, we saw it go grey, and I put my weather radar on, and I saw the rain come in just as I was making my pit stop. And I thought to myself, do I go on to inters, or do I stay out on hards, or do I switch to mediums and then do a last stint on the hards, because I wasn't sure if there was a little bit of rain coming, so I thought, and then I saw it disappear just as I was going into the pits. So I kept to me thing and stayed on hards. But yeah, if a little bit of rain come in, it would have really shook the bottle up a bit. Hmm.
Absolutely, but you know, thankfully for the racers, the weather system just kind of moved past the racetrack and gave the town next door a good shower, I'm sure. But that's all right. You know, it was tough conditions out there today, and I'm sure the last thing the drivers needed was some rain. But I'm sure it would have been great for the fans at home. But you know, great racing from you here today. You've been you know struggling the last little while. You feel like with your pace, you know, getting back up into the competitive standard of the fields here, I guess, in the seasons as you guys continue to grow. And boy, you seem to be locking right back in here over the last 3 4 weeks of racing again. Feeling good?
Yeah, man. I did. I managed to, obviously, last race in the Group 2, as I did manage to get on to third place on the podium, and then this one in the second. I was hoping for the first, but obviously I was beaten. And good. They're very fast drivers, and they're very good drivers. every one of them, and trying to get that pace to get quicker is just helping me to learn a little bit quicker. So well done, guys.
Absolutely, and I guess any final remarks and any shout outs you'd like to throw to the viewers at home watching.
Yeah, just like this, obviously the drivers that obviously I think it was Doug, and not sure if there was another one that had car issues, but you know, hopefully he'll be back next race and give it all. And obviously Mark, I don't know what happened there, but I'll obviously have a chat with Mark and see what happened. But yeah, commiserations to him, and hopefully he'll be bounce back, and he's still at the top of the standings. So well done, and to all the other drivers, well done, and well done to Petrol and Mike as well.
Absolutely, and well done to yourself for a great second place finish here today as well. And with that being said, we'll let you get back to that Team Rad Clubhouse, and we'll start the celebration while we talk to our race winner here.
Yeah, get the bubbly going. Thank you.
Cheers, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's really late for our race winner is here. Is actually really late where all three of our podium finishers are here. So let's not delay any further. Team Rad's Petrolhead coming in with a big win here today. He is our defending champion coming from our last major series. Had carrying that championship star, looking to defend. Got off to a little bit of a shaky start this season, but boy, you were locked in today. The car looked really good around the racetrack. Talk us through your race today.
Race was, well, after the first lap, it was a flat out recovery drive. I don't even know where that speed came from, I'll be honest. I do need to apologize to Mark. On the first lap, he jumped slightly in front of me, and I did drive into the back of him. Held up for him to recover. But I think something else happened to him later on after I repassed him. After that point, it was literally just head down and catch up as much time as possible, because by that point I had lost about 10 seconds to the leaders. I knew this track was the best conditions for my car, because my car has the best straight line speed of all of them. But it was a case of head down, just set fastest laps, and the time just went. Cutting through it. I think by lap 4 or 5, I had gotten myself into fourth or third place. And then it was just keeping to the strategy at that point, because I knew I had the pace on Razor. But catching up that time towards the end of the race, and then in that second stint, being able to jump out in front of him and then pull away so quickly, I don't know where that came from. I think I just hit the zone.
Oh, I was just gonna say, sometimes when things happen on a racetrack, especially early in a race, when you're feeling good coming into a race, or you know that you have great pace in the race, and you have that early incident. And I can attest to this. It happens every once in a while for me when I do get the chance to compete. You drive really angry. You're very quietly angry deep down inside. It's like it pulls out some extra adrenaline out of your body, and it just fuels you, and you become almost tunnel vision. Is how I don't know how else to explain it. And next thing you know, the race is over. So it most certainly definitely looked like that was the case. To clarify what happened to Mark, so everybody knows, he got collected up from an incident in front of him, a driver coming back on track. In my opinion, a fairly safe manner, and just wrong place, wrong time for him, and it was just a rough day for Mark. So but he got that thing back and around for maximum points he could get for the race today, and that's what counts the most. But crazy race from you. We knew that you were going to be pushing, and by the first stint, I mean, you were right there sitting in fourth place chasing Diafull Racing, and I think he made a mistake, and you just got around him right before the pit stop sequence there. You jumped Mike 1972 in the pit stop sequence to take second place over, and then it was just you just kind of continued on that charge and found your way around Razor after the second set of pit stops and didn't really look back. I mean, what was going through your mind? Once you settled back down after the early chaotic start to the race, after that second pit stop, obviously you're in your rhythm. Did you have anything going through your mind, or were you just trying to get to the checkered flag at that point?
All that was going through my mind was chase Razor down, do not get a penalty. That was it. It was literally just chase him down, chase him down, chase him down, reeling off laps, reeling off laps, reeling off laps. And then that second stint, I had gotten past Razor, but suddenly I was still, I think every single lap that I ran after the second stint, I ran a purple, which was wild. I don't think I've ever had a race where I've just kept getting faster and faster and faster like that.
Yeah, and it was funny. We knew that Mark was going to be definitely pushing for that extra point with that fastest lap, and he most certainly was there at the end of the race. And when you dropped that 41.1, was actually the same lap that Mark had dropped a fast enough lap to beat your previous time before that, and then you come in hot with that 340, which was faster than anything we've seen in practice. So you were definitely on a mission here today, and rewarded for it with the top step on the podium. And I mean, you're right there too. You were nipping you're nipping right there on the podium in the championship right now as we get to the mid-season. Obviously, with the not so desirable result from our championship points lead, that's really going to give you and the rest of the field some point gain there. So, what is, I guess, your objective moving into the final half of the season here now?
At this point, I don't think I'm going to catch Mark. Honestly, this was the best track for my car. Monza is a good track for me, but the way I drive Monza doesn't suit the car because of the curbing. Now, at this point, it is attempting to be the best Rad team member. Just that simple pride, honestly. I don't think I could catch Mark by the end of the season. I'm going to try, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be very difficult. He is very quick. Very quick.
Well, there's nothing wrong with having that a little bit of a friendly competitive spirit within your own team drivers, the team that have cars on track either, because it seems to me like Hair Racer has answered the call. He has definitely found the next gear all of a sudden in his race here this season, and Doug Burrow's always a competitor on track as well. So the three Team Rad drivers here in the series are definitely showing great pace and not showing any love towards each other on the racetrack either, which is fantastic. This is an individual championship, keeping in mind, folks. So they'll work together when they need to, but I tell you, there's a lap left to go and there's another position to be grabbed there. They're going to fight for it, and that's exactly what happened here today. Petrolhead wanted that win. His teammate was ahead, and he went for it anyways and brought it home with about 8 seconds at the end of the race there. So really great run from you, and that's definitely going to be in the discussion for driver of the day here in the Discord server. Obviously over the next few days here as well. There's a few names that are going to be in that discussion today, as it was a pretty crazy race. Lots of great recovery drives from lots of drivers as well, including our race winner here today. So any final remarks, I guess, you want to throw on the race today, and any shout-outs you'd like to throw to the viewers watching at home?
Again, thank you for Team Rad for building an insanely fast car. Thank you for the sponsors, Motorsport 101. Great people. Check out their podcasts if you want to know motorsport. They're good people. And as always, it takes nothing to be nice. It's been especially in the F1 community, it's been a hell of a start of the season. But again, it takes nothing to be nice. It's share the love, people. Share the love.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Well said, my man, and congratulations on a great race win. I believe first win of the season for you, and hopefully not the last.
Hopefully not the last, but there are some quick guys here.
Absolutely, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks' time here for round number 5.
Thank you very much. Thanks for streaming and commentating. Sayonara.
Until the next time, my friend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there we have it. Petrolhead, our race winner. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Race started, everything was good. Everybody got through turns 1, 2, and 3 real clean, real crisp. A little bit of bumping, grinding, a little bit of elbows out racing early on in the race. Typical what you see early on in the race, especially at Le Mans here. Little mistakes costing some drivers out. But ultimately, it was just a little tap on Subi Mark from Petrolhead, which he touched on in the podium interview. And Mark just went a little bit off track there, caught the sand, spun the car around, came back on track, collected up the middle part of the field. A bunch of positions got swapped around there as drivers tried to navigate through. And we ended up with the race we had pretty much after that. So, it is what it is. Racing is racing, and not every day is going to be a perfect day for every driver, whether you have great pace or not on a racetrack, or you're feeling good about a particular combination. Racing is a cruel mistress. It is a high intensity. Anything can happen. You cannot predict what's going to happen next kind of sport, and that's why we do the best to try and keep it as safe as we can, and safety within fun factor still for our racers on the racetrack. So, everybody's thinking, man, that was a tough mid-season race, Ghost. It was. This was a tough day of racing here for these drivers. But again, this is not the toughest circuit on the schedule this season, and we have not seen that circuit yet. So, season finale will be our toughest challenge for these drivers in these Group 2 cars this season. I'm not going to tell you where it's going to be. You want to find out? Join the Gran Turismo Racing Community Discord server to get that racing information on the championship. Until then, it's going to be about another 6 weeks' time before we find out where that finale is. But next week will be the Audi, the Audi TT Cup Series round number 4 as well. And I can't remember what the track is right off the top of my head, but that's all right, because next Saturday will be race time here at the Gran Turismo Racing Community at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Sorry, a little bit of a change in the time due to UK time change not happening yet. So we are an hour later than normal right now, and once that changes, of course, we'll make sure the community knows. I am your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. I hope everybody enjoyed the broadcast and the racing that we have here from our Gran Turismo Racing community today. I'd love to throw a special shout out to the admin staff and volunteers in behind the scenes for getting the series together. Huge shout out to Le Mans for letting us rip up the beautiful countryside of France for a little bit and have some fun. And most importantly, to the drivers for coming out and putting on a show. Can't do it without them. To all you guys and gals, kiddos watching at home, we appreciate you. We love you. Don't forget to like and share that bad boy before you leave today. It just helps us grow. And if you love what we're putting down and you're not following the page, just hit that follow or subscribe button. And every time we go live, it'll be available there for you to watch live or as a previously recorded video at your leisure later on when you have a moment. Appreciate all the support here from GT45 Gaming and the Gran Turismo Racing community. And we'll catch you on the next one.